You're not going to see this anywhere else until people start copying me and not giving me credit, because these dolls are the same. I am going to recreate this super rare doll for cheap for about $10. I say if I had to start from scratch and didn't have most of the supplies already, it would be 20 to 30. In case if I needed a body, I don't need a body. I do use super dangerous products in redoing this particular redo, so be aware of that. This is for 13 and up. So I was getting a lot of notifications from Amazon because they wanted me to buy this doll. It was on discount. It came with a $2 coupon, making the doll only about, I say about $5.50 with tax. And I was looking at the listing and I'm like, that's the Mermaid doll. When you use Super Mr. Clear, you do have to use a lot of precautions, and you have to shake it for 2 minutes, or the bottom, when you're almost done, it will be terrible. That I took that off with nail polish remover, the professional oxy type. It did make a little bit of a weird marking on his face, but it's not too noticeable on camera. Those are the needles and the hair whips I got from AliExpress because they were the cheapest. Apple Barrel White is what I bought for this. I did get this from Amazon for $2.50, but you can get the Walmart little ones for $2. Unless you paint all the time, you usually don't go through those big bottles. So I did go super thick with this after prepping him with the Super Mr. Clear. You do have to wear masks with that. You have to be very careful. Products like those, that is what makes my videos for adults only, because they are pretty dangerous. And they also don't sell them in the US, so you usually have to buy them from Japan. I make sure that if you're doing this project, have handy wipes on hand. I wouldn't do the whole head. I would just do the top that you're rooting. And I would, if I was doing this again, I would pre-drill all the holes before painting, because I did get a little bit of cracking while I was rooting because of that. He kind of looks like the guy who played the father in New York Minute with Mary-Kate and Ashley. Now, this is the Mermaid version, and I'm going to do my best trying to get him there. I'm using those watercolor pencils to get that gray color, but I've lost my white, and I tried to use white, the white paint. It was not going over the watercolor pencils very well. But overall, I think it's a good look. The eyes for the mermaid doll are a little more lined, and the eyebrows are shorter and thicker up top, but really those are the only difference. They are a little darker. So I'm going to start with my rooting tool, and then I'm going to cut this. These are the pearl needles, I think in 8mm, that I bought from AliExpress. This is going to be the first ones that I try. It actually cut really well, and that's the one problem I've been having with these needles, is that they're not cutting at all. But the reason that this one cuts so well is that you can snap these needles in half with your fingers. They're very brittle. They're not very strong. that's not going to work and not going to stay in the head. So I'm going to have to take a super bigger needle and use a wire cutter, which seems to work okay, but it's still, because the needle is a little too big, I have to pre-drill the holes, and then that actually still got bent while I was doing this. That is where I've been using my dull sandpaper that is meant for Blythe to scrape that down a bit so there's less cracking going everywhere, because it is getting in the hair, and I will wash that and sand it down one more time before I repaint. But next time I'm just going to use a satin finish with a Modge Podge mixed in, and I will get a similar effect, and it will not be as toxic, and I think I'm going to have a slightly better effect. This is your reminder to subscribe. I thought I took more pictures of the in-betweens, but I couldn't find any more, so I think they got deleted. But this is how it looks when it's pretty much completed. He has nearly a full set of hair. I do think I did it a little thick, and this hair is soft but stiff. But I did use Gorilla Glue to glue in his hair. It's not rated for plastic, but it's rated for, I think, rubber, and I think this is rubber. So I thought this will be fine. You only have about 5 minutes to work this in. I do want to add a little more, but my Q-tip is getting stuck on all those hairs inside. It was thick in there. I could not even see through all the hair. I did root this guy very well. This is my first full reroot. I've done partial roots before. And this is my first reroot where it had never been rooted before, too. So this one was difficult. I broke a ton of needles, like 10 or 20. The needles from AliExpress did not work. They just break in half. So don't use those and just buy higher quality needles. So, this stuff is an irritant to your eyes and your skin, so you have to be careful with that. But as I've said before, my videos are not for kids, because kids should not be doing stuff like this unsupervised. So I am just using, this is a watercolor pencil. It's Faber-Castell. It's not the expensive Faber-Castells. It's just the regular ones. I did buy some Derwent because I needed more color range. I need a white, though. I need a white for a project that I'm going to be starting very soon. I'm still buying all the equipment and crafting supplies for that project, but that will be coming up pretty soon by the time I post this. His eyebrows have to be thicker, rounder. I think on the doll they would have stopped about there, but you know, unfortunately I forgot to erase his eyebrows before I set them with Super Mr. Clear. So this is what you got. This is what we're working with. I'm just going to stick them on that Ken body I bought in a lot a few weeks ago. That body was about $5, but I already had him. And of course you could have put it back on the regular thin body that he had. This was the 60th anniversary Ken. He was painted and designed to look sort of like the 1960s Ken, and he was adorable. But, you know, we want to remake him. I'm going to do the painting of his eyes in purple. Of course, I'm still using apple barrel paint. And now I don't think that it came out pretty well. that one. I'm just going over the silver and gray that I had used before when I colored the eyes. Those were watercolor pencils. This is just thin acrylic, a thin layer of acrylic. I have to do this upside down on the left because I am right-handed, and it's easier to do it upside down. It looks pretty good, and I think I did better on the side that usually gives me problems than the regular side. I'm going to be mixing Modge Podge and that white paint that I used. I did use dull sandpaper to sand that down quite a bit, and now with a mix it's a little more opaque than the regular paint over Super Mr. Clear, so be aware of that. So I'm gonna paint this one side, and then I'm just gonna pick him up off camera and paint both sides at the same time, wait for it to dry, and then work on the hair. Now it's pretty stiff and it stays pretty much upright. And I thought I had taped me doing the iron part. I ironed his hair. I added a lot of gel. It smells pretty good. It was a Garnier hairspray gel. I'm just not sure how much it looks like the doll I was imitating. It is very similar. It's the same head shape. I just used way too much hair. So his hair is a lot thicker. Of course, that happens when you don't have the original doll to work off of, where you just have to work off pictures. You're not sure where the hair starts, how much hair to use. It looks white in the picture. It actually is a silver. The difference is he has slightly bigger eyes because they extended the eyes downward. His eyebrows I could not get as dark, and he has more peachy lips, and mine is actually tanner. The silver is actually the same depending on lighting. Now, seeing that it was $8.50 on Black Friday, I couldn't resist giving him an articulated body for a grand total of just $19. I made this recreated doll that usually goes for $50, would probably go for more if he had an articulated body like this one. I did not recreate the tattoos because those type of tattoos that are heat and cold water reactive usually fade in time and would be a lot more expensive for me to recreate. So I skipped that and just gave him a nice articulated body. This is the finished product. Tell me how you think I did, and tell me what dolls you think I should do next. If they have the same face mold. I do have a couple dolls waiting to be remade, and I hope that you like this series. This is the first part of recreated expensive dolls that I am doing. Thank you so much for watching, and have a really awesome day. Goodbye.
Subscribe if you like watching adorable bunnies who don't actually say anything in the movie at all. And beautiful shoulder devils.
How do you know I'm not evil too? Oh, the shoulder angel. I better go.
Do what's right! And subscribe, because that's right.
Apparently not.
Do you have a situation?
Yeah.
Do what is right.